In my last video, I was talking about how for us to be able to live a life that feels in alignment with our inner compass and more true to our soul's experience, expression, we need first to investigate where we've been living on the conditioning and the instructions, as it were, of family, society, school, culture, all of those different environments that will influence us. And often we're not given the permission to listen to our inner voice and our inner compass, because our parents, our teachers, our carers, our friends, being well-meaning, also haven't necessarily listened to their own inner compass. So what can happen is the true essence of us, our true spirit, gets layered up with all the beliefs, the conditioning, the identification with the roles we're meant to play, who we are told we are, rather than who we truly are. So in my last video, I was saying that often the first thing to do is start to really press pause and ask the question, am I living as I truly want? Now, this can be a process that starts to unravel something that can take a long time, particularly if we haven't been living exactly as we want and we've got distress inside us and a lack of ease, and things don't seem to be working out. And sometimes even if we've lived to the rhythm and the tune of other people and it's all looking okay, it might not be feeling okay. We might not be honouring our true calling. So I was suggesting that we put everything out on the table in all areas of our life, in all our relationships, whether they're personal, professional, all the areas of our life excuse me, all the areas of our life where we are expressing ourselves, whether it's in sport or art or business or anything that we are invested in and are spending our time doing, and bring it all out on the table, put it all out and ask the question, is this fulfilling me? Is this making me feel good? Is it making my heart sing? Do I feel excited by it? Do I feel passionate about it? What do I really feel? And that is a process that can take some time, and it's not necessarily something that you want to do necessarily quickly. However, what then I was suggesting that we start by starting to just shift our emotional set point. Now, what I meant by that was that we can start to recognize where we perhaps have areas of our life that, whether it's in our relationships, whether it's in the work we're doing, where it doesn't feel right. And so the first thing to do is perhaps see whether there's an internal narrative going on that isn't serving us, because sometimes the layers are so deep that actually it's not so much about the thing that we're doing, but it's about the attitude we have to it. So we could be in an arena with a partner or a colleague where we are continually not feeling that we're doing a good enough job, not feeling good enough, not feeling that we are able to ever measure up, all manner of things. And that in itself could be the area that needs to be addressed first. So by shifting the emotional set point, it's important to bring out something on the table and say it's a work situation where it doesn't feel good, and first investigate what areas don't feel good. So it can be very good practice to just write everything down that doesn't feel right, all the negatives, get it all out on the page. And some of those could be about you, that you might be saying, I don't do a good enough job, I'm not up to the job, I feel overwhelmed, I feel overworked, no one values me, no one sees what I'm doing. It can be all manner of those things. It might be that it leads to the place where you go, well, this is the completely wrong environment for me. But initially, if we turn our emotional set point, we can start to see whether there's something within us that needs to shift and that the place we're in could feel better. And then we're more able to see whether it's actually the environment that we need to move out of. So when we've written all or you've written everything down, just shift the emotional set point very slightly. So beside it, so say you've written down, I feel continually overwhelmed and I can't cope with the work I'm being given. Beside it, you could just shift the emotional set point a small amount and just say, I have a lot of work and I don't know how, but I know within me I have the capacity to expand, to cope with it better than I am. So that it's just a small shift. It's not massive. Or you might have one that says, I'm always being overlooked. Everything I do isn't noticed. Perhaps you can say, I'm open to noticing where I am praised. I'm open to noticing where somebody thanks me for something I've done, because often there is our own filter through which we're seeing things. So we have a projection that we're missing the points where somebody might be thanking us or valuing us. Or if we say, I feel that I'm left out and I'm not part of the group, you could perhaps write down, I'm willing to notice where I'm included. I'm willing to notice where somebody invites me to join them for coffee, for lunch, because those little small set points shifts or emotional set point shifts, they can at least mean that you're able to be more available to see that you have within you the power to shift things, and that a lot of our unhappiness or our distress is because we have an inner narrative and an inner orientation that has been set up through the conditioning we've had, the adaptations we've had in our childhood to what happened. And it's important to go in at all different angles. So that can be a place where you do it in all areas of your life and just start to see if you can shift a few emotional set points, because it can start to empower you that there's an inner shift that can happen, because our subconscious mind is hearing everything we think and everything we say, and it is the kind of seeds for the subconscious. So if we can start to change that, just slightly change that in all the areas we're in, we're going to be in a better position to then see that, okay, so actually I do feel more able to do my work. I do see that I'm included and valued in areas, because if we don't start to change that and shift that emotional set point, if we just change the external, we're very likely to take that with us. Whereas if we start to change the set point emotionally, we will lead us to say, well, actually, I'm okay here. I'm enjoying it now. And how strange, I'm actually much happier. Or it will lead you to be able to say, have more self-awareness and more availability to listen to your inner compass and take you perhaps to something different, whether that be a new job or a new area to live or a new relationship. But it's important to have everything going at once, so that we have the awareness that we are creating our experience by our perception. And therefore, if we can start to shift the perception, shift the emotional set point, then we can start to really empower ourselves to take the courses in life that best support us. So with all of this, I think I'll stop there, but with all of this, there's layers. And as you may, if you watch my last video, there's layers that we can go in at. And even if you try some of them, then you're going to start to uncover and discover more the truth of who you are and more the direction that you truly want to go in, but from a place of greater ease within.